Good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, May 13th, and we do have some new information coming out from the SBA just now. The SBA has released details to provide guidance on how they're going to review the good faith certification regarding the necessity of your payroll protection loan request. So the so-called safe harbor deadline that everyone's been talking about is tomorrow, May 14th. So nothing like waiting till the last minute to give some additional guidance on this, right? The May 14th deadline is the time that business owners have to return the money if they received funds, but in retrospect, they do not believe they meet the economic uncertainty clause in their loan documents. As a reminder, all applicants who received a payroll protection loan, regardless of the size of the loan, all applicants must certify that the current economic uncertainty makes the loan request necessary to support the ongoing operations of the applicant. So everybody had to make that certification. The SBA just released guidance just within the past hour stating that if your loan request is for under $2 million, they will essentially take your word at that statement regarding this economic uncertainty. Now, they're saying this for two reasons. Number one, as they state in their release, they said smaller businesses who are taking these loans for under $2 million are far less likely to have the ability to obtain funds elsewhere. These businesses are the size that they don't have large lines of credit sitting at a bank that they're able to tap. They just don't have that access to capital that larger businesses do. They're also saying this for another reason. The SBA does not have the resources to be able to audit or review all of these millions. There's almost 4 million loans that have gone out to businesses. They simply don't have the manpower to be able to review all of those. So at some point, you just have to say, we'll take you on your word. So now, if your loan request was over $2 million, they have given some additional guidance on that as well. Yes, the loan is subject to SBA review. If it's determined that you really didn't have good reason for taking out the loan, they're going to say that you're not eligible for forgiveness. So the whole getting it taken care of or getting it waived and forgiven into a grant will not apply to you. They're also going to ask you to return the funds. So you also don't get to keep it, you'll have to give it back. If you do that, if you give the funds back, it all ends there. So the big warnings that people were hearing over the past couple of weeks of, that it might be considered fraud and there would be other charges, that type of thing is all with this statement is a much softer statement from the SBA than has been said in the past couple of weeks. So this is really good news to hear this. Directly, here's a quote from the SBA document. Says, as they put it, they will not pursue administrative enforcement or referrals to other agencies. Read that as likely to mean they're not filing criminal charges for fraud if they do one of these audits for a loan that's over $2 million and they determine that, no, you really didn't need this loan. You had adequate liquidity somewhere else. You just chose not to use it. They're going to ask you to give it back. You're not going to be able to get the forgiveness on it. And if you do that, if you give it back, no harm, no foul. Anyone under $2 million, you don't have to worry about that. They're going to essentially take you at your word that you did need these funds, as long as everything else was filled out correctly. So do keep in mind, this is not just a blanket, anybody say anything on these applications and you can get the money. If you make false statements on your loan application, then obviously the SBA is going to pursue that vigorously. And they already have started that. If you've been following the news, there was the story just last week of two business owners up in the New England area who have already faced fraud charges for their payroll protection loans. Now, this was outright fraud. They filed applications and they got loans for businesses that weren't even open. So clearly that is very cut and dried fraud, and the SBA, as they should, is going to vigorously go after those types of businesses. So if your loan is under $2 million, breathe easier. As long as you can honestly state that these funds were necessary for your business to survive, you're good. It is best to document your reasoning, and we do cover that in another video that's on this channel. Be sure to watch that one, make sure to document everything, and subscribe to our channel. We'll get you all of the latest banking news updates that impacts your business. We hope this information is helpful, and in the meantime, please stay well and God bless.